Hey guys, welcome into the show. My name is Tyler Kluver. I'm a former Division I athlete. I now run a fitness coaching business as well as a sports media brand that creates podcasts, sells merchandise, and creates other exclusive content. This show is a place for me to document my thoughts on fitness, health, nutrition, maybe some business or mindset stuff, as well as update anyone listening on my own competitive fitness endeavors and life events. I want everybody that comes and listens to this show to take something away that can make their life better, whether it's a diet or fitness tip or a way of thinking about things that motivates you to be better in your own life. Hopefully we can get that done, but regardless, I'm glad you're here. Let's have a day. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Come on, here we go. Snap podcast number 160 something. I don't know. Hit the record button today and honestly didn't have an outline and then realized that I had plenty to talk about. I thought that I was maybe going to make this episode about sleep, and we are going to talk about sleep because it was certainly for the last 5 days, 6 days, it's been a very relevant issue in my own personal life. But then I realized also that on my own fitness podcast that I do, probably would be smart to pump the any programs or things, offerings that I put out as a fitness coach. Happens to be one of those coming out on Monday. Actually already doing some sales, some selling of the program. We're going to start Monday. Kind of foo-foo start date, just a bunch of people doing it, starting it at the same time so that we can kind of, anybody who does it can sort of follow along and I know where they're at. But this program is actually going to be one that is purchasable forever now, inevitably. That's not the right word I'm looking for, but to eternity. Program's done. It's not changing. It doesn't need to be completed as a group thing like some of the former challenges that I've done. So if you're interested, a lot of the stuff that I've done in the past has been about losing weight or intermittent fasting. In fact, fasting was what I started with. We shifted. We've done a couple New Year's challenges. I think, we've done a Hammer the Holidays challenge. All of this based on losing weight for the most part. Because most people out there that are the demographic are in the business of losing weight. Or if they have one goal or one major thing that they can change, it would be to lose weight, and that would make the most difference for them. This time around, we're not doing that. This is a building program, potentially a program where you might find yourself eating more than you're used to, a program that is focused on building strength and muscle. And it's not just a month-long challenge, it is a 3-month program. One that you could run over and over. You could just repeat this program 4 times and it would get you through the year. And after a while, sure, you'd eventually, you'd probably plateau at some of these movements. That's how workouts work, but and exercises work. But you could run this a couple times and it would probably still yield results 2-3 times through. It will certainly yield results, especially for those who are currently untrained or have not been in a rhythm or a routine recently. Done correctly and with enough effort and consistency, those are really the two. I keep coming back to those two words, and maybe we'll do some bigger stuff with that. But um, you hit all your workouts here, and there's not a lot. It's 3 days a week. Again, I'm trying to soft sell you guys on it here. It's 3 days a week of lifting for about an hour, maybe 75 minutes if you're stretching out the rest periods. Especially in that third month, the volume jumps up a little bit. Call it an hour, 75 minutes. Intense lifting. Lots of effort and focus put into these 3 hours a week of lifting. And if you do that, you're probably going to gain more muscle and strength than you ever have before. And that's a sort of a wild claim because I'm talking to a sort of a deep variety of people here, but I'm pretty confident you've never done a program that is quite like this exactly. And I really believe in this program, and I really think that um, if you follow it with the intent that it's supposed to be followed, which is you should be beat when you walk out of the gym. Like you should really push yourself, especially as you get deeper into the program. Um, but it's only 3 days a week, and that's where a lot of people are going to find some difference, some variation here. There's a lot of people that lift and they get into working out in a routine. They like to bump it to 4 or 5 days a week, maybe 6 days a week. This is 3 days a week of lifting. I myself have not been. I mean, there have been weeks where I certainly have only lifted on 3 days, but that is out of necessity or sort of like this week is actually a great example. I traveled, had a kid sick for a day and a half at home. I just wasn't able to get it in. But my intention going into that week was very much so that I would have 4 days a week, 4 days this week of lifting. It's going to end up being three. But the last time I specifically did a program where I signed up and I knew ahead of time, hey, this is only 3 days a week for 4, 8, 12 weeks. Just haven't done one like that in a while. Since I've done this, I did this program actually. And it's it's built for that intensity and then rest. Get a rest day, come back to the gym 48 hours later, you're able to hit it hard again, and then another 48 hours off. And then finally hard again. And then, if you're doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you get that full Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday, Sunday to Monday, 72 hours of rest in between weeks. And it's that intensity and rest periods that I think most people haven't experienced. They're doing too much of it's actually sort of similar to what's happening or what happens with a lot of people when they go and they try to train long running to get faster at running or like races. In running, too many people are running too fast too often, and they never build that aerobic base, that just pure fat oxidation, metabolic turnover, energy production that they need to eventually run fast. In lifting, too many people are lifting not hard enough at too high of a frequency. They're going 70 or 80% 5 times a week. They need to be going 90% plus, maybe 3 times a week. And that's what this program is. So I'm confident that it would yield you the best results you've seen. If anything, it is very likely different than the current program you're on. Or again, if you're on nothing, then it's certainly a big change from your day to day. And the sort of the system shock of just doing something new not only keeps it mentally easy to kind of approach each week, but your body your body will react and adapt. Focused on strength and muscle and the nutrition component that comes along with it is built to it's not personalized by me. It's not a coach that's giving you, "Hey, this is your custom nutrition," but it's a structure that gets you to a pretty specialized diet for you. You will have an amount of calories, an amount of protein that you are tracking on a daily basis that is based on you, your body weight, your goals, and the real-time feedback that you're getting from the scale. So it's pretty close. It's basically it gives you the structure to customize it yourself. It's $200, which is probably not enough, and several people told me that, and I understand that. But to be quite honest with myself, my fitness brand, because I sort of dilute my time, or my time is saturated with both podcasting and washed up walk on stuff and the personal training, fitness, nutrition stuff that I do. The personal fitness brand is not really in a spot where I put something out there for what it's really worth and it gets the kind of response. Quite frankly, I don't have the demographic of people that are interested enough in health and fitness to jump and buy something like this for, maybe twice the price is what it's worth. 400, 500 bucks. So it's priced at $200. I've already got a dozen or so or more people signed up. Trying to get would love to get 20 by Monday. I think we'll easily do that. Maybe we'll get to 30. We have over 30 people that have shown interest, said send me the extra details. So I'm excited. It's a good program. Kind of just came to me a couple weeks ago and I said, screw it. We're gonna do a strength program for the summer. And the added benefit here is if you get stronger, you're likely adding muscle. There's some neurological adaptation there too that you can get stronger without actually adding tissue. But after a while, especially if you've worked out before, you're going to gain tissue when you get stronger. Gaining muscle mass, is beneficial for a lot of reasons. But one of the bigger ones is that you are quite literally building your engine. That engine being your metabolic engine. You will naturally burn more calories, handle, store, and use glucose better, and generally be able to function better during exercise or any activity because your muscles are better at using the energy. Your metabolism gets faster. Means you can eat more and you can also, use that to your advantage to then fuel for even more. It's sort of a cyclical thing. Uh I don't know. Faster metabolism seems like a good thing to me. You get to eat more and you're burning more calories, which in turn, as you add muscle and likely not add fat, or maybe even lose some fat in the process of this, depending on where you're coming from, your body fat percentage is going to be better. You're going to look better. I don't know. Seems like no brainer. Uh, DM me or send me an email at tyler-kluver@live.com and I can get you the details on that. I promise it's more than worth your time and money. And that's that. Sleep. Probably should do a whole nother episode on it. I know I've done it before. But man, was it ever so important this weekend. Went to Vegas for the first time for a bachelor party for my buddy Kevin, co-host of the Walk-Ons if you're a listener of both shows. And first time in Vegas. You get 3 days there, right? We got there Thursday evening-ish, 5 o'clock in Vegas. And, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yeah. Not even 3 days. If you go on Thursday and you come home Sunday morning, you get less than 3 days. You wanna make the most of your time so you don't sleep as much, right? You get 3 days with your boys. And so the first night, not to mention you're losing time going from, somewhere more Eastern than Western, right? So we get there about 4:30, 5 o'clock Vegas time. That's actually 6:30, 7 o'clock Iowa time. So my body feels like it's already, a little later. Then we don't eat dinner that first night until 8 o'clock Vegas time, 10 p.m. Iowa time. And then people go gamble and hang out. And, next thing you know, it's 1:30 Iowa time, 11:30 Vegas time before we're even asleep. So that really sets you back. And for a guy who gets minimum 7 hours a night, that's like on a bad night or a night where I'm like dumb and I stay up scrolling till, 30 minutes or an hour past when I should, and I wake up in the middle of the night. Uh, for somebody who gets 7 hours minimum, a lot of times closer to 8, sometimes over 8, 3 nights in a row of about 5 to 6 hours, even just that, horrible. Horrible. It's Wednesday. I got back on Sunday night. It's Wednesday, and I still feel jet lagged, and I still feel like I'm dragging ass. Didn't even work out on Monday. Had to go get sick kid, and so that ruined my afternoon workout that I had planned, which would have been a run. That run got moved to yesterday, but had to be done at the end of the day, the work day, so about 4 o'clock, 4:30, because sick kid stayed home for day 2, and I can't run away from the house when the kid's here, even if she's sleeping. And so we're backed up on that. We feel like we're kind of walking through mud. And let this just be a PSA that if you have not tried sleeping an extra half hour, let alone another hour or 90 minutes, or maybe you're real bad, maybe you get 5 to 6 hours of sleep. What if you got 7 to 8? And I know it's tough. People have families, people have jobs, people have, their kids have sports and activities that they need to be run to. You have to do this. You have to fit in your workouts. You got to fit in, but that it is what it is. You have to do all that anyway. And I guarantee that you find yourself messing around for at least an hour. You're wasting an hour of time, or maybe you consider that. And I understand this too. Maybe you consider, hey, we get the kids down at night. That's my me time, right? I want to stay up and enjoy a couple hours of me time because the rest of the day I'm stressed out, running around, schedules blocked out. Consider this: the other 20, let's call it the other 16 to 17 hours a day that you're awake would not feel as stressed and rushed and low energy, or your mood wouldn't be as bad during those 16, 17 hours if you were getting the 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. You kind of trick yourself thinking, oh, at the end of the day, instead of going to bed at 9, 9:30, I'll go to bed at 10:30 or 11, because that 9 to 11 times slot is kind of where I stay up and I play my video games, or I scroll TikTok and Twitter, or I just watch TV, watch a movie. That's not doing anything for you. And it is so, so evident when you actually execute on it. Actually put your phone down at 9 o'clock and go to sleep. And then wake up at, hell, 5, 5:30. See what that 8.5 hours does for you. See how unbelievable you feel. And I can't imagine what it would feel like if you just normally get 6 and then all of a sudden you got 8. I normally get 8, had a bad weekend 3-day run of 6-ish average, and just setting me back a couple hours a night. I was a zombie, and I was taking naps during the day in Vegas. So it's just a PSA. This was never more evident than me for me personally than when uh when I was a freshman in college. I was young, 18 years old, 19 years old, and I was able to buffer it, right? So I didn't notice. I also didn't know better. I didn't know what I was missing out on. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And I was getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep per night my freshman year, and at the same time in the weight room, in training, I was wondering why a lot of my friends were getting stronger and I wasn't. I wasn't hitting the goals that were set for me, but they were hitting their goals set for them. And I thought they were just tougher, better at lifting than I was. No, they were getting more sleep. They were eating better. They were recovering better. And their bodies were adapting and reacting that way. And mine was not. Is probably one of my biggest regrets. But hey, I fucking watched every episode of Lost and Prison Break. Fucking thank God. You know? Get more sleep. Check out the Summer Strong program. DM me on one of the socials. I can give you the details about it. It's worth your time. Tweeted this one out today. If you're on a plane, I'll leave you with this. If you're on a plane and something bad goes down and the oxygen masks drop from the ceiling, you are instructed to put your own mask on first before attending and helping other people. The reason for that is because if you pass out, then you certainly can't help other people. You have to take care of yourself first. And in life, it's the same thing. Being healthy and fit and having a functional body, the machine that you walk around in every day, that's your oxygen mask. And you have to take care of that first before you can be expected to be a good parent or a good significant other or a good coworker or employee or child to your parents. You have to take care of yourself. It's why I get a little bit on my high horse because I truly believe that there's a lot of passions out there. There's a lot of hobbies, and a lot of times they cross over, right? Um, and I think that it just so happens that my hobby and passion of fitness and health also happens to be one of the capital T true priorities that every human should have. Because if you don't take care of the machine that you're in, that affects both physical and mental performance. So, and it doesn't matter what you enjoy, what you do in life, who you are, every single human on earth, if their body, if their machine is not operating at 100%, not even close to 100%, even 70% or 50% of what you're capable of, you're just simply leaving, you're causing yourself way more stress and torture going through day-to-day life than you need to, but you're leaving potential on the table. You're leaving meat on the bone. Don't leave meat on the bone. Okay? Your excuses aren't valid. I did a 7-mile threshold run today. Felt like shit, still did it. Doing a lifting session about an hour after I get off this podcast. The training doesn't do itself, baby. No excuses. Go get it done. Be a savage. We'll talk next week. Till